Welcome to the second video in our series on how to make newspaper sculpture endangered species puppet.
This is by far the hardest part, so try not to get frustrated. It's a lot of fun and you have to use your imagination a little bit.
First of all, make sure that you have two pictures of the animal that you're going to create, so you can observe all of its features. You have to look at the whole body and see the various parts and how they are in relationship to each other. Are its legs long or short? Is it fat or thin? Where are its ears? Is it a long animal? Is it a short animal? And look at the size of this head. How do you make a head that big? Some animals, their heads go up, some go straight out. This head goes down. So that's one of the things you'll look at very closely as you begin to make your puppet sculpture. We often start by taking off strips of tape and hanging them on the table. A lot of kids have problems tearing the tape. They often end up going to scissors because they can't quite get it. But you just put your fingers on each side of the top and twist. You don't have to, it doesn't pull this way. You have to twist it to get the tape off. And you'll be wadding up your paper to try to get to the kind of basic size of the animal and basic shape of the animal.
I like to start taping where the animal's neck would be.
And the good thing about working with newspaper is it's very malleable. You can twist it and turn it and punch it down and punch it in and get the shape that you want. If you want a smaller puppet, just don't use as much newspaper. If you want a larger puppet, use more newspaper. You have to keep taping in order to hold your puppet together as you're getting the shape. So that's about the shape of her puppet. If you don't think it's fat enough, you know, once it's made, you can add more. And in fact, you probably will add some more newspaper on the body, even though you've got the basic shape done.
As you can see from our photo that the rhino's head is quite large and it almost touches the ground. So I'm bending the paper and making sure that the head is really part of the body. We don't want the head popping off during any time. We want to make sure everything is connected just like how it is on the animal. Once you have the shape of your puppet, you want to completely cover it in tape. This will make the paper mache process a little easier. So right now what we're going to be doing is adding details, the ears, the horns, and the back legs. But it's very important that when doing these things, it is structurally sound. So I'll now show you how to do the rhino's ears. We're going to use one piece of paper and tape that piece of paper in the middle of the rhino's head. Looking at my photo, I can see that the ears are really at the top of the rhino's head and then on the side. They're also pretty large. So I'm using big pieces of tape to make sure that the ears are connected to the head. Now, this rhino has bunny ears, but let's fix that. When I get the size of the ear that I want, I tape the other side of the newspaper.
So let's just take a minute to focus on ears because they're really important to giving your animal its character and its personality. You do the same thing that we showed you with the rhino. You take one long piece, tape it over the head, and then, important, I always look at my picture. This is my fox. Isn't he so gorgeous.
He's so
But
cute.
look at his ears. They're almost like rabbit ears. They're so long and they're so pointy. And I look at where they are on his head, and I put them on his head, taping in the usual way, and then build the ears from there, making sure that they look just like the picture.
Here I have built a panda head. Panda is a bear, and it's got these cute bear ears. They're very round and kind of at the top and side of his head. So here I've made just the head to show you all. So I've taped one piece of paper in the middle. I've crafted the ear from one side, and then this is how I would start making the second ear. And as you can see, we've started to get the panda's characteristics. And once we add the paint, it will be a finished panda head. Now remember, you don't need any scissors for this project. So if you want to tear something, you can just tear it here, or you can tape that newspaper down to the animal. Here's the rough shape of the rhino's ears, so I'm going to add more tape to give them a little more detail.
And as you can see, Emma is squeezing it and pushing it around a little bit to get the exact right shape. That's the great thing about newspaper. You can't do that with stone.
Not all rhinos have two horns. But the
Ah!
black rhino definitely does. And look how big that is. So we're making a nice, long, beautiful horn.
So we look at the picture again and make sure that we're putting the horns in the right place. Putting the newspaper on, it's all one piece. When you tape it, you can tape it really, really tight, and that gives it some structure. Great. That is a good looking
How fun
horn.
is that?
That's pretty cool. I like that. Now, shorter horn. If you have some rough spots, they aren't quite, smooth as you'd like them to be, you can always put another piece of tape on it.
Right now I'm using the tape to really smooth out all of those lumps and bumps.
I love his head. The head
I do
is
too.
done. Oh, he's really cute. Okay, so now we're falling in love with our puppet.
I have both of my legs in this roll of paper. Maybe Susan can help me
I
by.
will do some taping for you here. Again, I can't emphasize it enough. Always go back to your picture. That'll tell you what to do.
I'm trying to make my back leg match the front leg of my rhino. They have these big, thick legs, looking at my picture. Rhinos can weigh up to 3,000 pounds.
Holy cow.
So those are some big legs.
Yeah.
So I'm folding over the newspaper to create some width. And if that's not thick enough, I'm adding more. Some puppets will have skinny legs. Some puppets might have no legs. I feel pretty good about my back legs.
Wow. Pretty nice. They almost all four reach the floor. I think he looks great, Emma. I love him. Nice.
I do too.
And Emma's still smoothing him out to make sure he's easy to paper mache.
We are starting taping the tail up the back body of the rhino, just to make sure it's not going anywhere. I am trying to be creative about the end of the tail, because they actually have a little hair at the end of their tail.
voila,
Ta-da.
we have our puppet. Our next step in our next video will be paper mache.